Okay, so I'm here to discuss my privileged pizza. So at first the assignment seems very straightforward, so I was okay with it, but then it became a bit confusing because there's really not a lot of weight to the pizza. So if I see that I only have like about 2 slices that are red, it appears that I have a pretty privileged life. But if I can't access all of my privilege, then is my life super privileged? So the example that I came up with, for example, is that my education is shaded yellow, but I have issues because of my race and ethnicity. People can see that I'm Black when I apply for jobs. It's often hard for me to access the benefits of my education. So for example, the job that I'm at now, I have a coworker with a high school diploma. She's a white woman and she sits right next to me. We have the same job title and she makes more money than I do. During my interview, my employers asked me maybe 3 times if I'd actually finished my education and had the actual degree. So in order for me to get my job, I had to have the bachelor's degree. She did not. And oftentimes I'm not able to access the same job without my bachelor degree as other people. And so even at that, I'm turned away from jobs that I could access with a bachelor's degree. So am I really accessing the same privilege as other people with a bachelor's degree? I'm not so sure. So that was the first, it was very confusing and a little angering when I did this. So the second bit, so as we see, a little repetitious, colored in the race ethnicity for Black African American, colored in social class because I grew up lower class most of my life, and in the last 2 years exactly, I was given a pay bump in which I accessed middle class. So I have that shaded in. The rest are shaded in yellow. For language, speak English as my first language. Gender identity, I identify as cisgender. Education, I do have a bachelor's degree. And then sexual orientation, I identify as heterosexual. Let's see. Number 3, my toppings. So for English, because I almost never think about it as a privilege, I speak English. Heterosexual, my topping is kind of out here. I think about it in study, but in my day-to-day life, I don't think about my privilege of heterosexuality unless I'm complaining about dating. And then my identities that are interwoven, all of my meatballs are super close together. That is class, race, and gender. Being a Black woman is something that I can't separate, and so they are clumped together to me. I think about them every day. Education is something that I can't get away from in class. Those things are woven together in a single identity to me. Let's see, and then the next thing is, how is this important to social work? To me, looking at how identity interlinks, and particularly intersectional oppression, it's super important to social work and how it functions. So being able to identify that within myself and seeing how I access privilege, particularly, and what I can do with the amount of privilege that I have and how I can access that is important to be able to spot so that I can work with clients and other people and be able to see what is going on with them and understand with them. Super important so that I can help them and understand what they're going through and how the world sees them and what they're able to access.